Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our 17th episode of the Totally Unqualified podcast. We have our special guest, Liney, here today because it's a very special day for us, too.
Aw,
Happy birthday, Mom!
Wow, you're doing a raising the roof. Liney's raising the roof. Thank you. Yep, it's my birthday. Yes, it is.
It's Ellen's special day, hence we are doing a nice, concise episode so we can go do our birthday plans.
Yes, we are on the schedule today, so we'll be making this quick.
Quick and sweet.
Quickish.
Kind of. If you guys didn't see it, I made the housekeeping queen, a birthday compilation of all of the times that she has said the word housekeeping on our Instagram account at Totally Unqualified Podcast. If you haven't seen that, you're not a real fan.
It makes me look like a lunatic. Yes, it does.
Lots of housekeeping.
Oh my God. Okay. And know what that means? This week, yes. There too is housekeeping this week.
Please let us know.
Okay, so last week we talked about the perils of threes, right, and friendship. And there seemed to be a lot of response to this, particularly amongst people, my friends, or people my age.
Our age.
And then, like, me and my friends are
your age is new today too. So who's your
Woo-hoo!
age?
Going into post middle age, I guess I'm in. Anyway, so this brought up a lot for people, and I just want to say that I had a very interesting conversation with, remember Jane, sister-in-law Jane, AJ, today, because she called me for my birthday. And we were talking about the threes and talking about solutions. And we walked away thinking or saying the following. If you are in the three, just remove yourself from the three.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the excluded one in the three.
But even so, it's not pleasant for people, right? So we both have lots of friends who've been to three. I've been to three when I was very young. I think I talked about that. And it's just better to remove yourself from the three because you end up crying or being upset as you leave the three if you're with the three, right? I guess I didn't make that clear. When you're with the three and then you go home after.
You pull a Lori from White Lotus and you have a breakdown on
pretty
the first
much.
night.
Yes. So just don't do it to yourself. Just decline the invitation. See each friend individually.
So the big takeaway is threes are not for me.
Threes are not for anyone. They're just not. Okay. Enough about that. Other than that housekeeping moment, I had something else, but of course I'm having a senior moment and I should have written it down. So we'll move on.
Oh, you forgot your second?
I forgot my second housekeeping note.
Okay.
But I'll remember it shortly.
All right. If you remember it, we'll
go back to the housekeeping. Maybe I should call it something else since now I look like a raging lunatic saying housekeeping.
No, you it's now an established part of your brand and you need to make housekeeping merch.
I feel like I should be running around with an apron and a dust buster or something. Like sweeper.
Okay, so love and hate. Do you want to start?
Okay. Yep. What do I love? This week I love New York City in the spring.
Period. That's all you're saying?
Well, we had a cousin visiting us, one of Eric's cousins, and staying with us. And so she and I took a lot of walks in the park. And New York is just a beautiful city in the spring. All the trees are blooming. You've got the cherry blossoms out and the forsythia and bittersweet. And it just looks really beautiful. And it feels very hopeful, I would say. So I love New York in the spring.
That's a good love. My love of the week, I guess, is you because it's your birthday.
I'm going to cry.
You're such a great mother. You're such a great podcast partner.
I'm going to cry.
We are all so lucky to have you. for support and guidance and giving harsh truths even when sometimes I don't want them.
Thank you,
But I love you
honey.
so much. And you know, everybody that says that you and your mom have a podcast together, the first thing everybody always says is, my mom would never do that with me.
Really?
Yeah,
Aw,
and you're the mom
thank
that
you.
does it with
She's patting
me.
me right now. If you're not watching, Ava's patting my arm.
Also,
like a dog.
I love petting, and I pet Will's arm sometimes, and he gets so mad at me. He said that it's too, quote unquote, relationshipy of me to pat his arm.
Well,
He also doesn't
find-
like holding hands with me.
Well, that is a little bizarre.
Why?
I
He's
don't
my
know,
brother.
But it looks, you guys are old. I don't know.
But I just love my brother.
I'd like everyone to weigh in on this. Are they allowed to hold hands? It seems like slightly.
Will gets so mad at
after
me.
White Lotus, the whole thing feels a little.
Will
weird.
gets so mad at me. Like, why can't we just be a close duo?
No, he's not the hand.
I know he doesn't. Will doesn't like any of my affection. He doesn't like a hug. Will hates me.
Dad and I have a hand holding issue. Do you know this?
But the dad can't hold hands for the
No,
life of him.
no, Dad can hold hands. But Eric and I had like this post-wedding moment of, well, not even post-wedding. I guess we figured it out before the wedding. Terror, because my arms are longer than Dad's.
Oh.
And so if we hold hands, I have to sort of crick my arm and he goes straight. And it's not the most comfortable thing. And over the years, we've had this hand holding issue where we can't hold hands for a long period of time.
You know, the interesting thing about Will and I is that we both have very long legs. And one of
Yes.
Will's favorite things to say about Dad is that he has a long torso.
That's true. But short arms.
Short arms and legs.
Yes.
But that is, if you want to make Will laugh, talk to him about Eric's long torso. It's literally his favorite topic of conversation. I have no idea why.
I just like to say, I don't know why I value this, but the long legs do come from the Breslau side
Yeah,
of the
it does.
family.
So that is our loves of the weeks. What's your hate?
So today is an introspective day on our podcast, and I'm thinking about impatience. I really hate when I'm impatient, and I am impatient quite often. I wasn't born with the patience gene,
Me
and I've
either.
had to teach myself over the years to be patient. Some things I'm patient, like fixing things or cooking, but I'm not that patient, particularly when people are a little bit, even when I say this, it's mean, inept. So I'm not going to say what happened.
So you
because
just say when people are idiots.
I can't.
You feel
It's
like when
not
people are
nice.
idiots, it makes it harder for you to be patient.
It's not idiots. It's that it's control, I think. That I think there's a way to do something and that it should be easy to do. And if it's not, then I lose my patience. So I'm really this year, for my birthday, I'm introspective, thinking that I should work on my patience because all it does is serve to make people feel bad, right? So when I'm impatient with you guys, Will goes into, Mom, are you okay? That mode of, you're insane, you need therapy, right? And you guys all gang up on me and say, like, there's something seriously wrong with me.
Okay, it's not solely because of impatience. I actually don't even really feel like impatience is that big of an issue with you.
Oh, really?
You're not that impatient to us, maybe to your coworkers.
No, never.
So I don't know. I don't feel like a victim of your
it's
impatience.
sort of like in the line at CVS. I had an issue recently.
Oh,
and the
God.
man asked me for help, which usually I'm very happy to do. He was doing self-checkout. And I'm usually very happy, but I could just see, and I was running late to meet you to go to the theater. And it was just problematic. He couldn't do anything for himself. And I was like, you know what? I was losing my patience. And there was a worker who could come and help him who worked there to self-checkout. I
Right.
don't know. I have impatience.
So you just like
on the
you
street
just don't
when
like
people walk
incompetence.
slowly. That drives me crazy. Is it incompetence? Maybe, yeah, a little bit. I do think that everybody should be up to snuff in terms of their abilities to deal with things. So that's my hate. But I want to go introspective. It's my own impatience. I should be more patient with things and people. And you?
My hate of the week is, you know what? Whatever happened to walking into somewhere, not having to make a reservation, not having to make an appointment? I am fed up and tired of all of this. First, I wanted to book a reservation for her birthday. Okay. No reservations. Reservations aren't even available yet, okay? The fact that I have to get a notification for the reservation to come out and I can't just go online and get the reservation pisses me off. Then the next thing is that I want to take this yoga class tomorrow morning, okay? I had to turn my notifications on to make sure that they would let me know when a spot became available when somebody canceled. I get a notification, I click on it, the second that the spot becomes available, no longer available. Who else is clicking that faster than me? I was on my phone the second I got the notification.
I'd be mad.
It's bullshit. Why can't I just go to things? Why can't I just go to the things I want to do? Why do I have to sign up the spots and this and that and notify? I just want to go to what I want to go to. I want to go to the reservation. I want to go to my class and I want to be there and it be done.
So I totally agree with you. And I'm thinking that maybe this is why people go off the grid. I've been thinking about, I was reading, you know how you scroll on your phone? I found something on People magazine, I'm not going to lie, and it was an actor who I do not know who he is. I think he was sort of in that 90s, 2000s, like they're younger than me and I don't know who they are. But this guy, maybe like a Dawson's Creek guy, I'm not really sure who he is. Anyway, it was an article about how he took his family and went off the grid, I think, to like the wilds of Minnesota, and he built their house from scratch. They live like 40 miles from a town. And he is much happier. They're self-sustaining. They have food. They make their own food. It is very cool. But I think maybe that is why people go off the grid. This kind of bullshit.
I don't want to fucking reserve everything. Just let me in.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Well, I had to do that for the theater dinner, and it was like we're not a reservation wasn't available yet, so I had to wait for the day to come, and then the day it came. If you didn't do it right in the morning, the reservation
open up
was
the
gone.
fucking reservations when
just
they're
let people
available.
walk in.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, I guess it is kind of impatient, but it's not really impatient. It's just like, why does everything have to be like online with a million steps, with a million reservations, notifications? Like my phone is out on the table right now because I genuinely don't want to miss the notification for the class because I would like to go to this class tomorrow morning. And for some reason, I somehow didn't swipe fast enough, which I do not believe. And it's really bothering me.
So I have a question for you. Old school, and your grandmother.
I was thinking about calling.
Yes,
I was
your
thinking
grandmother
about it.
on the other side, Eric's mom, Gra. She is old school, right? So she does everything by phone, and she would say to you, "Pick up the phone."
Yes,
and
but the app
Auntie
doesn't.
Freed would tell you also for reservations for restaurants.
Reservations
pick up the
are
phone.
different. I'll call for the reservation, but for the workout class, I know they're going to say, "Well, is there availability on the app?" And I'm going to say no, and they're going to say, "Well, you need to go on the app and wait until there's a spot available."
I feel like we should do this in real time, and you should call them right now while we're on the pod and see what happens. Just call them and see if you say, but I really would like to attend the class. I come every week to this
No,
class.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing it because I have rapport with the people at the studio and I don't want to annoy them. And I go so frequently. I know that.
No, but maybe you could say like, "Hi, this is Ava. You guys,
No,
this is who,
no,
I'm
I'm
the one
not
who wears,
there
like, the blue
yet.
jumpsuit."
No, I'm not there yet. I also don't keep my mat in the studio, so they don't know me like that yet.
Yeah. I think it would be helpful to our listeners.
I know exactly what's going to happen, and I don't want them to know me more than just Ava who comes to class twice a week.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
I totally
And I
can
know what the
respect.
answer is going to be because I have worked in customer service, and that is what they're going to say.
So the system's broken. System's broken.
No, the system isn't broken. It just fucking sucks.
No, system's broken because why can't people just walk into things anymore? By the way, I don't know if anybody else has this or any other cities or towns, but in New York City, there are certain stores that have like a rope line outside.
It's so fucking dumb. I can't.
You have to stand in line to
and
go
wait
into
to get into the
shop.
store. Okay, bizarre.
Is that insane? And this isn't all like high-end Gucci.
No, but to go into Brandy Melville, my old place of work.
Yes. It's absurd.
I want a white t-shirt. I want a $15 white t-shirt. I have to wait in the fucking rain.
It's really crazy.
It's crazy. All right. So those are loves and hates. Moving right along because I do have some pressing things to do.
She has a work call.
I do.
She has a work call coming up.
I'm a busy gal. All right. This is your time to shine.
I thought you were going to tee it up.
What?
The question.
No, I thought I was teeing up the big topic.
Oh, no, but aren't we doing the question?
Yeah, but you asked me to tee up the big topic, not the question.
I didn't know that. I thought you were teeing up the question.
Oh my God, you're having another senior moment. Because
I'm
before
not.
we literally started, you said, will you tee up the big topic?
No, I said, would you tee up this topic because we're talking
Okay, fine, then I'll tee it up. All right, so our our listener question of this week, we have been seeing it amongst our friends or my friends, and it also kind of applies to just what we, meaning totally unqualified, has been going through. But there has been a lot of talk about grandparents. And before you say this is becoming like the grandparent podcast, it's very relevant in your 20s. I've said it before, when your grandparents get old. But we've been having a lot of people in our life kind of feeling a sense of hopelessness, feeling a sense of I have no idea what to do, because they have to care for and coordinate and figure out how to get support for their grandparents, how to be a good caretaker, how to find a caretaker, and just everything that falls under that category. And I think this could widely apply to a lot of other things about just like general logistics, or where do you start doing something that you don't know how to do. And so our expert Ellen, because she has had to deal with grandparents and caregivers before, would like to give some advice.
That was good. Good teeing. See, I knew you would be a better teeing. So a couple of Ava's friends have actually reached out to me in the past couple of weeks to talk about their grandparents and issues that have arisen with grandparents getting older and needing care and support and family dynamics, because sometimes parents have different relationships with the grandparents than the grandkids do. And I've been really surprised. I have, because I didn't deal with this until my mom. I was a grown-up. Well, you guys are grown-ups too, I guess. Yeah, I guess. No, you are. But just much later. Are you?
I wouldn't say I am.
Let's put a pin in that one and come back to it. So your friends are in your early 20s and asking good questions and going through hard stuff with their grandparents, right? They may be the one who the grandparents are in touch with. They may be the ones visiting the grandparents and see that the grandparents are declining, and maybe the parents are a little bit in denial, or the parents are busy, or the parents don't have good relationships with them. And this is a lot. It's a lot for anybody. But certainly when you're in your 20s, I would not have known what to do. I didn't even really know what to do when I was in my 50s, and I'd just gone through this. So I just thought maybe we would give a little support and tell you what I've said to some of your friends about this.
I just want to say, okay, you don't believe this. I do believe this, but it's fine. We can disagree. I'm very resourceful, okay? And my mother said to me, she was like, if this was you, you would have no idea what to do. And honestly, I think that's a lie and that's wrong. And you're honestly contradicting the fact that you have said my whole life that I could get home with 10 cents from anywhere in the world, and I believe that as well.
I believe that.
So I actually do think I would know what to do. And I want to say, from an Ava's standpoint, just as thinking about being somebody in that situation and maybe not having the support of my parents and feeling a little helpless, I think that everybody who is my age needs to take a step back, take a deep breath, and use the resources that we have, aka AI. I think that the first thing you do is you say the situation, right? You type in the situation. I'm having trouble with my grandparents. They need support and they live in this place. And I would bet you that the AI would be like, the Caretakers Association of Southern Cincinnati. Like, I think that there's so much focus on being overwhelmed, and everybody just likes to be overwhelmed because then they have to focus on being overwhelmed rather than taking action, when really the first step to understanding your situation is asking about your situation. And that can be as easy as typing something in on ChatGPT. And that's where I think like everything needs to start.
Ava. Okay, here's what I have to say to that. 100%. 100% you are right. If we were not emotionally intelligent, connected people to the people in our lives, right? Like that is an intellect, to me, an intellectualized version, yes, of what to do. Sure, you could look for a place for mom, which is a website that will give you, if you put in your zip code, like options for assisted living. You could go to care.com and look at caregivers. Like there are loads of resources, but it is such a highly emotionally charged moment that I think you're not giving credence to how sad and overwhelming it is, that you get blinded by the sadness and also by the ferocity of the need, right? That it just, I was saying to your friend's parents last night, who I had drinks with, that we all know it's coming, that our parents are going to need help, and we kick it down the road, right? It's like we just can't deal with it. We bury the ball under the carpet and we don't look, and then all of a sudden it's here and we're surprised, right? We're shocked. And then we're like, wait, what do I do? Well, what do I do? Because it is very hard to see your parent or your grandparent decline. It is hard to see that maybe you get them assistance, and which has happened with one of your friends and us. The grandparent fires the assistant many times, the caregiver, right?
Oh boy, do we know that story.
Couples where one has dementia. We know a few of those situations. And then the other grandparent is getting dementia also, or getting sick. So there's lots in play here. And a lot of it is emotionally charged. Like, how come this happened to me? Why do I have to take care of them? I want to take care of them. I don't want to take care of them. It's taking up my whole life. I can't be there all the time. I live far away. I live too close. Should I have them live with me? I mean, there are loads and loads of questions. And I just wanted to bring up that some of your friends are going through this in a way that a lot of people don't go through until later, and that it is a moment that's very difficult. And sometimes you need to talk to someone. And so having a therapist is a good idea, because you have to process your own feelings of sadness and grief and anger and rage and all of it. And that you also need maybe another adult to help you along, because this is a very hard road to go alone and make choices for aging grandparents or parents by yourself, right?
I mean, I think everything about what you're saying is true. I think the area in which I am kind of struggling is just, and I'm sure a lot of other people are too, is just like, I am such an action-based person that I feel like I would treat this very methodically and not let those outside factors necessarily hinder the things that need to be done. But I do understand how that is an issue. I guess I just have trouble seeing it because for me, I think I'm able to do that separation, and I think you were able to do that separation too.
Except it continues, right? Like you solve one thing. I found a caregiver. Great. But then you have to manage the caregiver. The caregiver's sick. The caregiver can't show up. I need a second caregiver. Okay. It's just that it is relentless, right? It's not just like I solve it and it goes away. It's like I solve it and then I've got to keep managing it.
Well,
and then
I
you've got
mean-
other things come in, like there are executors and trustees and wills and do not resuscitates. And like there are all kinds of things that come into play here.
Which then has me begging the question, why don't you just put them in a home if they can afford it?
But there's still issues, right? Like I have a friend who you know well, and her mom is in an assisted living facility, and she's still constantly getting calls because guess what? When the parent gets sick, which is often, you're called. When they go to the hospital, you're called. When she won't eat, you're called. Can you come? We heard a story this weekend that their mom went to assisted living and the mom was threatening the other residents and they wanted to kick her out.
Yeah.
I mean, it is constant.
Yeah.
It is, so it's not like a one and done is what I'm saying. And so I think if you're young and your friends who are going through this, you have to take care of yourself, even as my friends, if you're a caregiver, you have to take care of yourself because this road is a long one. And if you can't take care of yourself, then you're going to get sick and be no good to anybody. It is that ridiculous oxygen mask.
So glad that we have Will because we know who's not going to be a good caregiver.
It's true. Thank God for my son. He'll take care of me. He'll take care of me when
Just
I'm
not
old.
built for it.
Wait, did we talk about this also on the pod about how, well, that's separate.
What?
No, I want to talk about how I feel like we don't have in place good, like dying.
No, we don't have any infrastructure. There's not even enough infrastructure for people who can't afford things like
course.
AIDS and assisted living to even take care of,
Yes.
elderly people.
Yes. And also this idea that like Bubby did not ever want to lose her mind, right? And she was like, if I begin to lose my mind, I don't want to be here anymore. But there's no one to say like, that's okay. And so then she began to lose her mind and didn't know she lost her mind. And I think she would have been miserable had she known how that was all playing out.
Like, yes, but she was so happy that like it ultimately didn't really matter. Because she was in such a good mood. Like there were people that get really agitated.
The last year, not good, Ava. Come on. No, not good. Her last year was not a good one. And so
I mean, I disagree with that. She wasn't throwing shit at people. She wasn't
but she
scared.
wasn't healthy. She was sleeping a lot.
Yes,
she wasn't well.
No, she wasn't well, but that's different than being miserable.
No, but I'm saying
she wasn't agitated.
I
She
never
wasn't
thought there
scared.
should be assisted suicide. Like I'm not one of those people that. But now I'm really rethinking it and thinking like, should you be able to say, "I'm old and I've had enough."
Yes, 100%.
And it's enough. And
There
I'm
should
ready
also.
to go.
What if you have a chronic disease? All of these people have to
Yes.
go to other countries. Like,
Yeah.
not cool. All right.
All right. So Ava's
Take care of
friends-
yourself.
Ava's friends, take care of yourselves and ask someone in your family for help because you can't do this alone if you guys are doing it alone. Okay.
You know what? I'm going to put him on the spot because he deserves to get hate for this. I sat with Dad and put in his calendar what time birthday dinner for you is tonight. And what do I get but a text asking me?
Yes, but this is Dad. We give Dad the leeway because Dad's really busy
Dad
at work.
is really busy at
helping
work.
save the world.
Helping save the mental capacity of
Of
the
all of
upper
us.
middle class.
Of all of us. Not upper middle class. I might say middle class.
Okay, the middle class.
Yes. So
I do these things with him so that he feels more organized. And then I get these messages and it makes me worry.
You know, just it goes one ear and out the
See,
other.
in terms of caretaking, that worries me.
Yeah, I know. Dad's brain sometimes. But his brain's very full.
I know it's very full, but that does worry me because we were sitting together when I went into the calendar.
Okay, well.
Maybe I should implement a shared calendar. Okay. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
I bet you Dad's going to beat us to the reservation tonight, and that's going to be the best part of it all.
Possibly. He will.
He'll get there before us.
Like I say, Eric, I am a sprinter, and Eric is a marathon runner, and it turns out that Eric gets there often.
But he did know where the reservation was, so he put it in correctly because he knows the restaurant.
There you go. See, give him the benefit for the good things. Shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Well, it's you.
Yes, it is.
Because I don't have to preface this one because you wanted me to preface the other one, even though you said you wanted me to preface this one.
There were two things I wanted to talk about, and I wasn't sure which one. But now that you brought up AI, maybe we should talk about that instead. I want to talk about the state of the world, but I also want to talk about AI.
Okay, so I started using a new AI recently that you told me to use.
Gronk?
Claude.
Oh, Claude.
I love
good. Yeah,
Claude.
Claude's very good.
Claude?
Yes, very good.
He's French.
Yes. All right, let's talk about AI. So we had at the company I consult for a couple of weeks ago, one of the managing partners did a lunch and learn, which Ava doesn't like lunch and learns. But
I know a lunch and a learn.
I love them. We did a lunch and learn on AI because he is like this total AI expert and really super into it and all the things AI can do. I use AI often. I do use Claude. I use ChatGPT. I do pay for it because I find that it's
You
much
pay
better.
for it and you haven't given me the login?
Oh,
What the hell?
Yes. But I don't pay the extreme. Like there is you can pay, I pay the very low.
You know that you're killing the environment.
I am?
Do you know how much water ChatGPT uses?
No.
Oh, it's insane.
For what?
All of it is like the electricity to work the servers is all water.
Don't
and it's
tell me
like really
that.
bad for the
Now I have
environment.
to cancel mine.
Now, all of it's really bad for the environment. And then I watched this CBS Sunday Morning about how like Microsoft and like Google and these other companies are trying to build like in-house servers and like in-house, I guess, kind of like electricity to mitigate all of the outsourced water that they're using.
That's really bad. It's like mining for cryptocurrency.
Yes, it's the same thing.
Wow. We are just killing ourselves, right? This is so bad.
I know.
So I did want to ask you about how your generation is feeling about AI because interestingly, the older people who are on the call, and by older, I'm going to say people who are over 35 years old, 40, a lot of them had not been using any AI, and the younger had. So I felt interesting because I like it, but...
Wait, tell everybody, not only do you use AI, but you're nice to your AI.
I am.
Ellen talks to her AI like they're good old friends. I don't talk to my AI at all. And then Nelson over here, one of my friends, is mean to her AI and calls her AI a dumb bitch whenever she gets bad answers. So there's really a spectrum of how we talk to our online servers.
I do. I talk to my AI. I say thank you. I say good morning.
She's a freak.
Do. And sometimes I say, AI, you've been really helpful. I really appreciate it.
I just say, write this for me. Make this sound better.
I do
Make this more concise.
Because you know what? Also, your friend who's calling AI dumb, I think is not putting in enough parameters because sometimes you have to load in a lot of information so then it begins to know you.
Oh, I think Nelson's AI knows her.
I guess. So I guess my question is, I am scared about AI. I'm scared about AI out-technologizing us and robots taking over the world, I'm convinced, because I was in a meeting recently of this organization, and people were talking about investing in companies with flying cars, and I began to feel like, whoa, it is the Jetsons. Like, we have smartphones, like watch, you can view people on your watch. We have TVs, we have robots coming to the house, we've got Roombas and all kinds of like mechanical things, and now flying cars. And so I am worried about AI taking over jobs and people getting laid off. And I've heard recently of a lot of people your age getting laid off. And I don't know what we're going to do about this, that we're going to have fewer people working because there are going to be no jobs to have. And then, well, this is how I feel. And then no one can make a living. So how can people afford things? And it's really scary to me.
I just like don't think we're there yet, though.
But I think it's soon.
I don't know.
I think like
I heard
20
somewhere,
years.
I heard on a podcast that said you should be concerned about AI when Alzheimer's is cured, because then technology knows the human brain better than we do, and they can end the disease.
Here's what I'm worried about.
And
Are we gonna be
Alzheimer's
wearing-
isn't being cured.
So similarly, are we all going to be, well, maybe I won't be here, but are you and your constituents going to be wearing like little buttons behind your ear to like input in info into your brain to make you smarter?
I honestly just feel like everything you're saying is dumb. Like, I think that's dumb.
It's not dumb.
It's not going to happen.
It's not dumb. It's going to happen.
It's so dumb.
It's
like,
gonna
I
happen.
actually just think it's dumb.
It
like,
is going to happen.
I think that I think about this more in terms of just like education and learning. Like, how are kids learning right now when they can get the answers so quickly? But just like everything else, there's always a new generation. There's always new things, new tools, new learning curves. And maybe AI is just one in the natural progression of things. I also think that how much can our environment and our economy sustain of AI until like it's not feasible? And I don't think that there's a world in which it won't be feasible, but maybe the progress will be slowed because we don't have the infrastructure to really take the full advantage of it. I think it's worrying, obviously. I think with all the good comes the bad.
Worrying how?
That technology can do things in a more efficient way than we can. But I also think, and maybe we are out technologizing ourselves, but I don't think that it's like happening tomorrow. I think that we have to adapt. I think that...
Yeah, but what about, like, you're telling me...
Also, like...
about the environment, right? Like, so we're just going to blow ourselves up?
Yeah,
and there's gonna be no food?
if
and
that's
it's
the
gonna...
choice that's made, that's the choice that's made. Like... I think with each generation, there's always a new set of problems. And this is our current set of problems. Like, your set of problems was like a massive war, world war.
No,
and
not me. I feel like my generation has like been very lucky that we were sandwiched between things. I don't know why this scares me so much, but it really scares me.
I don't know. It does, in the way it scares you, I do not have that feeling.
But what about your friends? Is anybody feeling like, oh, my job, I'm not going to be able to
I think that people are rethinking things. And I think that, something like computer science, maybe if you're a computer science major, you're trying to harbor more skills because AI can do coding. But I also think that we haven't reached the point yet where like robots or artificial intelligence can fully take over for us. And until that really happens and it starts being implemented on a large scale, I think everybody's living in a little bit of ignorance.
I think so too. I mean, there are two things that I have read recently that are interesting. One is they are testing robots in homes to help out in homes, like as a servant. Mm-hmm. That to me is bizarre. And then the second thing is there was an interesting article in the New York Times this week about how professors do not want their students to use AI, but they are using AI. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I was using ChatGPT the other day to help me with something. And I did think, wow, this is making me dumber because I'm lazy now, right? I'd rather let it, and it now knows my voice and I'm able to give commands enough to like fix it. It doesn't make it perfect.
But people would say that you're just becoming more efficient. Like the argument to that
I
would
think
be,
it's making me dumb. Like I'm not using my own creativity and my brain to solve the sentence issue and create a good flowery sentence. I am using the machine to do that, and I think that's not good for me personally. Like I'm not using my brain power.
yeah, but like if you're reading books and engaging with the world around you, like you're trying. I don't know. I'm not that concerned.
Really?
I'm like maybe I'm the only person that's
Does
not that
anybody
concerned.
talk about it to your friends?
I also feel as though like I really am removed because there is one thing that robots in my lifetime will not be able to do, and it is plan a multi-day event with lots of logistics and interacting with people. So I just like feel like it's so far removed. Like AI only helps me like write emails. Like
at the minute.
or like put together a schedule. But like, I'm sorry, in my situation when you need like people to physically do the job, I feel.
But what about, just hear me, I hear what you're saying, but what about like registration, for example, right? Do you have people who sit at a registration
Yes.
desk? Okay. But guess what? Soon registration is going to be self-registered. Just like when we go to the airport, we don't no longer stand in a line, do we? We go to a kiosk and we check in and drop our bag. So those are jobs taken away from
Right,
people.
but
Like
that
you no
doesn't-
longer need
that's-
registration people.
Yeah, but I still need to get that kiosk into the space.
I understand, but it's fewer people, right? So now if you needed 20, now you need 5. And so people lose their jobs because of that.
Right, but it's really not me. Yeah, I mean,
Right, I agree with you. I mean, if you're going to pick a
like
you're gonna
I
pick
feel
a
like I
profession,
am
it's a good one
I'm a
to pick.
safe person from the creation of AI. Like I really don't feel large scale impacts of it. That being said, I understand that some people do. And I think that much like every other existential threat, the generation deals with it or they don't deal with it, like
I just
climate
think we're gonna
change.
have massive amounts of unemployed people, right? I think about it with will and with finance, right? Like trading used to be, you'd have people screaming on the trading desk and like waving their hands and like trading with each
But
other.
maybe
You
we're
no
just
longer do
becoming
that
more
anymore.
efficient.
It's a very positive way to look at it. I hope that is the way. But when you tell me how much it affects the environment, which I'm embarrassed to say I didn't know, that is really upsetting
I mean,
to me.
maybe people should just like stop having children. I've always been an advocate for that.
Well, then the species dies.
I mean, is the world not going to
Explode?
have irreversible damage in like 3 years? Well,
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I mean, I was talking to one of your cousins the other day who's studying science and bugs particularly, and we were talking about the food supply and whether or not the food supply is in jeopardy in this country and can bugs save the food supply?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we need to keep having a million kids, but that's just me. I also don't like them, so.
You love them. You call them chicken nuggets.
They're
You
chicken
love
nuggets that
kids.
belong to others, but not my own.
Well, you're
I
very
also only
young.
like them within a very short range of time when they can't talk and when they're not crying that much.
But you were a baby. Imagine if I felt that way, then you wouldn't be here.
Well, Dad felt that way, and I am here. So
Well, we only felt that way for a short period of time.
I don't know. I don't like children. We can talk about that on a different episode, but I
All
don't
right.
like them.
So I guess we have no answers to the AI issue.
I just feel like
although-
you're a little bit alarmist. Until Alzheimer's is solved, I'm not that concerned.
But there was a report this week on Alzheimer's, I will say. I didn't read it, but I think we should go back and look at it.
Okay,
'Cause
you can
I
housekeep
think
that
they-
next week.
I think they may be advancing rapidly on solving Alzheimer's.
Hallelujah. But if it's not AI related, then
Unless the funding gets pulled, because now all the universities are losing. I would like to talk about that too. Is it good that universities are losing their funding or bad? Dad explained to me why it's so terrible. Because part of me was like, why is the federal government giving Harvard millions and billions of dollars? But it's because the research is open
yeah,
to all.
I mean, the
and not
research is
privatized.
scary. The fact that we would lose research is
We are
scary.
losing research.
I know.
Across the board.
Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in. If you want more updates to write in your problems or just to leave us a little voicemail at Totally Unqualified Podcast. I feel like nothing was really resolved in this
I know, I'm
episode,
feeling
but there was a
little
lot
bummed
of
out.
discourse.
It's my birthday. I don't like the.
Well,
I'm
you're
ending on a
choosing
low
to be
note.
stressed about this when, in all honesty, like, this is all going to become an issue when you're like almost dead.
I know, but you're my kids, and I want you guys to have a good
Okay,
life.
I'm not that concerned. Will can like be rich and I'll hang out with him. Like, I don't know.
Okay. Well,
That's my aspiration. My aspiration in life is to become my brother's assistant. I'm not kidding. That is all I want to do. We can hang out all day. I can give him hard truths and he can support my lifestyle.
I'm sure he would like
To be a
have someone
professional
take care of him.
podcaster, event planning on the side, and being my brother's assistant are my 3 major aspirations.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you have aspirations. All right. Everybody enjoy the spring day. We have a nice day here. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.